Taurus Sun and Rising, welcome to your December 2022 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So as I record this in November, the lunar eclipse in your sign has come and gone. And even into December, some of you may be noticing that certain aspects of your life are shifting, that the tide is turning in some way. And of course, it's always possible that nothing seems particularly different. I have Taurus rising. I have a late degree of Taurus rising, and the impact of that eclipse did not form a conjunction with my ascendant. And some of you may be similar to me. So I think that for later degree Taurus, Sun, and Ascendant people, that the next year is going to be more of, I'm talking about 2023, as Uranus gets closer to our Sun or rising sign degrees, that we will start to experience that influence. Like right now, the first half of the sign is really kind of under that Uranian influence, or has had it happen thus far. So December ends with Neptune going direct on the 3rd of the month at 22 degrees of Pisces. That's an interesting degree for Neptune to go direct because 22 is a master number. So it is a very, it's a different version of the number 4, which is a number that is ruled by Saturn, and it deals with foundations. So people who have a life path of 22 are master builders in numerology. And so Neptune is the exact opposite of what the 22 represents. Neptune is very without any kind of boundaries, and maybe even without direction, kind of merging with the cosmos. So Neptune, when Neptune is retrograding, it really can give a person a sense of disillusionment because Neptune is about illusion. So when it's retrograding, it does the exact opposite. But it's not, that's the negative way of looking at it. What it's actually doing is it is creating a sense of understanding where the things that you want in the 11th house are your hopes and wishes, where they are unrealistic. And so sometimes that the natural byproduct of that is to feel disillusioned because you thought what you wanted was just so within reach, and you realize that it's a long shot, or you have to work certain things out to make it happen, but that's all good. And now Neptune is doing its thing, its magic, by being direct and giving you that inspiration once again. Also, this is the house of gains. And it's important to note that Jupiter is here. Jupiter went direct, and it's direct. Jupiter went direct in late November, and I always feel a little guilty saying that because that's on the 23rd, and the 23rd hasn't happened as I record this, so I'm actually lying through my teeth when I say that, but I'll just say Jupiter goes direct on November 23rd, and it's in Pisces when it goes direct. And so as we begin the month and Neptune goes direct, they're both in this house of gains. So that might have been something where you felt also, when Neptune went retrograde, where you felt a little bit disenchanted with the money that you're earning through your career, your business, and you might have even thought to yourself, who knows if this is the best I can do? And now you might have more positivity with this. You might be dreaming a lot bigger. And you might see the results of that, because Jupiter in particular can be about money matters too, about abundance. So that could be a very good time for the first few weeks in the month. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, and that's the third house. No, what am I talking about? It's the ninth house. This forms a trine with the sun or ascendant. So that is a cooperative angle. Coming from that ninth house, this is the higher mind. So this is very good for any. It's also the house of higher education and publishing. So any of those endeavors can be more supportive at this time, and you might be doing something actively connected to that. So some of you may be enrolling in college or some kind of spiritual course. I don't know if you're starting the course of studies or you are simply enrolling. This could be gathering your documents because you plan to travel. On the 7th, the next day, there is a full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini. For Taurus people, this is the second house of earned income. So, cha-ching, there again, this can be good for gaining some kind of money, extra money. Sometimes this is a culmination of your efforts. So this can be the harvest. The full moon can be the harvest. But when we look at that area that I was speaking on, the 11th house, this could be directly connected to your business or your career. So perhaps getting a raise. It's always possible that an income stream ends if you're retiring. But even if you're retiring, you may get some kind of exit package or whatever they call it. Same thing with somebody who is leaving a job, that they get some kind of golden parachute, or I don't know what they call that. And so you could still be gaining more money at this time. On the 9th, Venus goes into Capricorn as well. So yes, that's another important thing to mention. Because Mercury is the planet of communication, when it goes into the 9th house, you may be speaking to foreign entities. Oh, and it also can be about language. So maybe studying language, a foreign language. Venus going into this house as well can be about love. When Venus goes into the 9th house, somebody may be dating someone from a different nationality, ethnicity, or race. And if that person is actually in another country, it's possible that you're going to visit that individual, you're falling in love with somebody from a different country, or you have the money to travel. On the 20th, Jupiter goes back into Aries. So here we have, for Taurus people, that Jupiter, while it was retrograding, it went back into Pisces, which is the 11th house, and then now it's going forward, but it's in the 12th house, and this is the last house, right? So Jupiter in the 12th, I was listening to another astrologer talk about how the effects of Jupiter in the 12th can be rather subtle, because this is a hidden area of the chart. This is an area of solitude. So it's not like sexy in the sense of, I don't know, like the first house where it's front and center. And, a sign like Taurus, you love the tangibility factor, seeing something with your own two eyes. Any kind of, so even with astrology, it's like, what are the tangible effects of this transit? And it could be on the spiritual level that is immaterial. That's the 12th house is immaterial. So the truth is, and this is a great way of kind of looking at it, is that if you look at it in a certain way, what you can say is that this is a great time between now and December and May when Jupiter goes into Taurus. I believe the exact date is May 16th, that you prepare for this new cycle of Jupiter by maybe enlisting some kind of spiritual practice, because Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. And so Jupiter is actually at home in the 12th house. And it's very interesting because I heard another astrologer talking about the transits, and this person was speaking about, I think when Jupiter was in the 12th house, and talking about foreign travel. And I was like, what the heck? And then I realized that because they were kind of like conflating it with the ninth house and saying, okay, well, it's got the same effects. And Jupiter is associated with that. So this, again, might have something to do with traveling overseas, far away from home. But in addition to that, anything that you involve the spiritual, that you get involved with the spiritual, can have a beneficial aspect, maybe even greater than it normally would, with Jupiter in this spiritual house. And remember that I was talking about Mercury in the ninth house, like studying something spiritual. So this may all be connected to something. If you're becoming a yoga teacher and you're also traveling to do it, that would be a perfect example of that. This can be a time of the universe having your back. The 12th house is a house of hidden enemies. Do we all have hidden enemies? I don't know. I think if you have Mars in the 12th house, if there's certain planets where if you have it in the 12th house, maybe there's a greater likelihood of that. I personally don't have any planets in the 12th house. And I'm sure there are a fair number of you who don't have any. But, that doesn't mean we don't have hidden enemies, right? A hidden enemy doesn't mean that this person's truly dangerous overall, but they just may be two-faced. The people that smile to your face and behind your back, they're talking about you. It's kind of like a subtle energy drain, if you will. And Jupiter can be it's like a guardian angel to protect us from these unseen forces that have a negative, that could have a negative impact very subtly on us, because we have these, energetic cords with them, for instance. So that could be good, even though it doesn't seem like it's giving us anything. On the 21st, we have, now this is interesting because the very next day, from Jupiter going into back into Aries, we have the winter solstice. And the winter solstice can change its dates from year to year. Or I should just say solstice for those of you who are in Australia or New Zealand or whatever. But it's a powerful time because the sun is going into a cardinal sign, in this case Capricorn. And the cardinal signs are all about action. And we can see at the time of the seasons changing, because that's what this is that we may feel like more compelled to take some kind of major action or make changes in our life. Maybe not, but it can certainly feel that way. And it's coming only a day after Jupiter goes into this new cycle, because Jupiter itself is going into a new cycle when it's in Aries. Now, it went to Aries before, so I'm not saying that's the first time it went into Aries, but now it's there for good. And then only 2 days later, we have a new moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. So this is a very early degree of Capricorn for Taurus individuals, and including Taurus rising. This is that 9th house. and that can feel like a sense of, looking at life in a new way, having a new kind of philosophy about life. Taurus people tend to be kind of stuck in their ways. And when, and also with that influence from Uranus, this may impact the way that you see life as a whole. But I have to say, and this is a perfect example of this, having Taurus rising at a later degree, this is going to be in my 8th house. So for some of you who have latter degrees in Taurus sun and rising, this is actually going to be in your 8th house. And that's more of a phoenix rising from the ashes vibe, because the 8th house is the house of transformation. But there's spiritual connotations for both of these houses, connections. So don't think that it's totally different. But with the 8th house, it's more to me of a esoteric nature. The 9th house is more kind of that, organized religion, those very the more organized systems of thought. Let's put it that way. The 8th and the 12th houses are more like open-ended as far as I'm concerned. So a new moon in this area, and so that might indicate some kind of new practices for both types of Taurus people, whether it's in your 8th or your 9th house. And it's a great time at this time to kind of reflect. I was thinking of especially those in the winter season of life, because the sun is coming alive. We're experiencing the ascent of the sun. And so that can mirror our own ascension. On the 29th, Mercury goes retrograde in this house, the 9th house, and even in my chart, it's in the 9th at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So, yeah, it's what comes up must go down, but it's really not going down. It's just going back, and it's only going to do so for a few weeks. So if you have been planning for a trip and something goes awry, just be comforted knowing that you're going to sort this out. That's one of the great things about astrology, is if you're completely in the dark about what's going on, you can always fall back on some of the transits and go, okay, maybe this is what's going on. And now I know when it's going to rectify itself, and I don't have to. And that helps you to let go of resistance, because when we're fumbling in the dark completely and we have nothing to go on, it can feel like it's going to always be that way. So that's, to me, a good side of predictive astrology in any case. But we can always make our own choices, obviously, and I think that that's important, very, very important. Okay, that's what I have for you, Taurus, and I hope that this resonated with you. Of course, these things are in the future, so, time will only tell. Time will tell. So, in any case, if you would like a personal reading, I have a package deal, which is an hour of natal chart interpretation and an hour of transits for 2023 using your exact chart. So as I've been stating, these transits do not all fall in the same house for every Taurus sun and rising. And if you're listening to this for Taurus sun, your rising sign could be a totally different sign, most likely will be, and so your chart is completely different. And the natal chart is very good. It's supposed to be specifically good for mundane events, like day-to-day events. So predictive astrology is particularly tailored to the natal chart. So anyway, that's called my deep dive reading, and I have other readings as well. You can find out more information at the link below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.